welcome. We can now leave a living will. Well, we can now make it clear if we want the plug, if we are diagnosed with a terminal condition. The top court, that's the Supreme Court today, said it's issuing guidelines which will be in place until a law on what is described as passive euthanasia is enacted. The guidelines focus on who will execute the will and the role of a medical board, and that is significant. The role of this medical board in permitting passive euthanasia. To contest a living will, a family member or a friend can go to the High Court, which will ask this medical board to decide if passive euthanasia is needed. Now, the first time the top court allowed passive euthanasia was in the case of Aruna Shanbhag. Remember, she spent 42 years in a vegetative state after a brutal rape in 1973, dying finally in 2015. It was her death and in fact her bedridden state that brought the focus on passive euthanasia. And with the court now today talking about death with dignity, that is our big focus on our program live stream this evening. Would you want to make a living will? That is what we are asking. Our telephone number is 8377088377. Pick up the phone, call us, even better, send us those video messages. You can also tweet us at NTV live stream. Let me introduce my panel to you right away. I'm joined by Harmala Gupta, founder president of CanSupport, someone who works actively with cancer patients. Also joining us in the Delhi studio, writer and activist Nandayal. Thanks both for taking our time to be with us first. Before I get into this, just let's hear from the first video caller of the day.
अभी जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर दिए हैं ये हमारे देश के लिए ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि यहाँ जो है ना बहुत ऐसे लोग हैं जो पढ़े लिखे नहीं हैं। कम से कम 70% लोग हैं जो पढ़े लिखे नहीं हैं, 30% ही लोग हैं जो पैसे वाले हैं, पढ़े लिखे हैं। इनको तो समझ में आएगा, लेकिन गरीब आदमी को क्या समझ में आएगा।
Okay, so there's a whole host of reactions coming in. We've just heard one. Harmala, I'm not sure if you managed to hear that. Actually, I'm not sure if you are managing to hear me right now. In fact, I'm going to just try and see if we can re-establish that in just a bit. But Nandayal, let me start by asking you, for everyone, like we heard you there saying, you know, who is this really going to benefit? Most people won't understand what this means. There are many others who welcome this, saying that it's about time that we take charge and decide what happens to us in this scenario when we are of sound mind. What is wrong with that?
We are human beings, and there are limits to what we can take charge about. We have no charge on when we are born, and purely on ethical and moral grounds, we should have no charge on when we leave this world. When it's time to go, it's time to go. There are many issues which are very complicated, and the fact that the Supreme Court has given it doesn't put the seal of God on it.
Okay, but the court has talked about death. The court has talked about death with dignity. I'm just coming back to you on that. I'm told that Harmala can hear us now. Harmala, they are here making the point that we don't choose when we are born. Do we have any right to choose when we die? How would you respond, ma'am?
I think it's not a question of choosing when to die. It's a question of choosing how you want to die. And you certainly have the right to choose a path that does not involve suffering, especially when it is possible to ameliorate that suffering.
Okay, and I just want to sort of bring the focus back.
And it's not a question of also when to die.
Okay, it's okay. I take your point. You're saying it's not a question of when to die; it's how to die. In my opinion, it's also it's also how to live. I mean, the court has also talked today about, but the court has also talked today about death with dignity.
No, but when you said the word how to live, that's the whole point. Do we live a life of dignity? The court had long ago ruled that the right to live implies the right to food, and yet we have starvation. Right to live, right to dignity are issues how you define dignity. Okay. Alzheimer's, a sound body but no mind. Is it very different from a brain dead person? Okay. Does an Alzheimer have a right to live? Does a spastic, does a quadriplegic?
I want to just take that. Okay. I want to just take that. Harmala, would you like to come at this point? Just who decides, just who is now, at a stage where their life is worth living or not of the quality that they would have imagined?
Well, I think what the court is saying, that the living will, in a way, puts that decision in your hand, gives you that choice to decide what you want done should those circumstances arise.
Okay.
And certainly, it will be a joint decision of the doctors who are treating you, of family members around you in case you cannot take that decision. But the fact that you have a living will and have indicated that you don't want your life prolonged artificially should weigh in and ensure that right till the end you continue to live with the dignity to which you are entitled as a human being.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Before I get in, let's just get another video caller in. This is Rahul who's called in. Right, this is Rahul who's called in with a video call. Just let's listen in.
जो डिसीजन लिया गया है ये बहुत ही अच्छा डिसीजन लिया गया है। माना इस डिसीजन को आने में थोड़ा टाइम लगा है, बट आई एम रियली वेरी वेरी हैप्पी अबाउट दिस डिसीजन एंड मैं ही नहीं, मेरे साथ सभी लोग इस डिसीजन से बहुत ज़्यादा खुश हैं।
Okay, so that's of course just shows the different views. We have it not just among the panelists, but those calling in also. That's Rahul saying, I'm glad for it. This is a step in the right direction. We just heard from someone else who said that, you know, who is this decision for? Most people are uneducated, or many people are uneducated, perhaps won't even understand this, but the power has now been given to the people. I want to now introduce on the show a couple. They are seeking active euthanasia. This is Narayan Lavate and his wife, Iravati. I spoke to Narayan and Iravati earlier, and I began by actually asking them on, you know, all those people, you wanting active euthanasia, all those people who have sort of said that this can really be misused. When does this end? How can anyone get up and decide that now they want to die?
So many laws are being misused. So what are you going to do? You must first enact the law and then decide how much misuse has been committed, then amend the act suitably. But why not have an act at all?
Okay, but they've also asked that why do you feel the need to do this? I mean, you are one of those repeatedly petitioning, saying that you should be allowed active euthanasia. The big question is why? I mean, the court is now saying that it's only for the terminally ill, and you may still have some, and we hope, good years ahead of you.
What is the purpose of our living now? We have lived enough. What we are going to do while living more? We are fully satisfied. Contact diseases and then qualify for Supreme Court judgment.
This is, of course, again, just I can imagine this is very challenging. I know you want to come in, but one last question, which is, this is for the terminally ill. I mean, I just want to bring that back. I know what you're saying. It's heartbreaking to hear you say that. You've just joined a long list of people who have been petitioning, petitioning governments to be allowed this. But, you know, this is only for the terminally ill. I mean, we are only saying yes to passive euthanasia.
Well, not such a, it means we wish to donate our organs in the good condition. And for that, if you take us away from this world,
we want to donate our organs while they are in good condition for use of the needy people. So keeping us alive further will damage our organs, and then they will be of no use. Why keep them in that condition?
That really must be a very difficult question. You're saying that you want to leave your organs, and before I get you, I want to get you in very quickly, sir. Just a short answer. They're saying we want to donate our organs. We want to sort of go before we contract something which is terminally ill. We've lived a long life. Very, very difficult, of course.
They have half a liver and one kidney. They can donate now if they wish to. Any human being, because they come in pairs, and you can always donate one. It isn't that. I think the desire, the will to live. That's what we are. We have come here to struggle, to take the pain, to take the joy. We have children, we have seen relatives die. The human nature is to struggle to live, to climb Mount Everest. It is not to snuggle and give up the ghost.
Okay, let's just hear it from our first caller. This is Naveed, who's calling from Srinagar. Naveed, go ahead. And we just seem to have lost that line to Naveed there. That was Naveed calling earlier. I'm just going to sort of go back to our long list of callers that we have. But I want to get you in, Harmala, at this point. You know, you made the point earlier that you're doctors will decide, those treating you will decide, there'll be families and others in question. But there are loads of people calling in today, tweeting today to say that they're worried that it can be misused. Is that a fair concern, you think, Harmala?
Well, there's always a possibility of misuse of anything, which is why you have to build in safeguards. The point is, this is nothing new that we are inventing. This is being done in many countries in the world, and there are medical safeguards. You have a committee that looks at the case. If it's proposed that you be taken off life support, you have an irreversible condition. The courts have also ruled that in case there is some kind of a conflict, either medical or within the family, you have the recourse to the courts as well. So there are safeguards that you can build in, but I don't think that just thinking it's going to be misused is a reason for throwing the baby out with the bathwater.